So I did an analysis on the article of science literacy, a more fundamental meaning. So it dives into the exploration, purpose, and methods of scientific learning. And the article shed light on the cultivation of scientific literacy. It discussed how, over 100 years, people have been working on it and trying to make sense of what they believe, is true about scientific history. But throughout all of this, we have not come to like a collective thought on what exactly is important and what needs to what needs to know, like our basic science facts, concepts, or methods. So overall, it seems that according to this piece, scientific literacy has been more about students learning facts rather than developing the skills of using scientific literacy to solve like everyday problems. So the author really dives deep into this, but he does state that despite this being the history, he does believe that scientific literacy for all is still possible. And he says, and I quote, it will be more helpful to have a set of core values that underline the generation of science, concepts, and facts that informs the methods of science, and most importantly, that enable the societal interchange that is the essence of the scientific endeavor. So these specific values are called the ethos of science, and they should be introduced to young students at an early point so that they can understand that it's a way of thinking and not just something to learn, and also allows them to work collaboratively. And this could start with students just doing the first step of science, of the scientific method, which is asking questions about things they're curious about within their own life. Excuse me. So there's many authors that agree with this standpoint that this El had shared. So one author I found, Jane Machen, she agrees with the emphasis of scientific literacy and then also like the social interception of it. She stated, we need both scientific literacy and science literacy for effective participation in the real world. Some people do need specific information, but informed decision making is a social process and also requires a society of scientifically literate thinkers to make wise choices and to help combat racism, sexism, bigotry, and social injustice by allowing us to distinguish reliable scientific information from unsustained claims and pseudoscience. So that was a mouthful, but it really spoke to how, being fully aware, being informed, being able to question things so you can learn things allows you to separate fact from fiction, but it also allows you to question things. It allows you to take care of yourself and make informed decisions regarding the autonomy of yourself. And it just really sets you apart from others who may not, who are either miseducated or misinformed. And it also affects so many different facets of life. So, in the original article, the author also shares the role of the teacher within this educational process of scientific literacy. He states that they have a true vital role and by modeling this culture and encouraging learners to think beyond what's in front of them. Ahai stated that he has taught for 30 years on I believe a collegiate level, and that he's had students come in that are extremely literate, smart, and they come in and he'll ask them to state something and they can give you facts all day. But when you ask them to say, okay, so how do you apply this fact, or what does this mean in like your everyday life, or how did you use this information? They're not able to think beyond that point of just what that fact is. And so, what is truly the point of having a knowledge if you can't apply that knowledge? I know, like personally, even growing up, in standardized testing, something that we were really that was really pushed was reading comprehension. I can know how to read, but if I can't comprehend and understand what I'm reading, and I can't come back and say, "Hey, this is what I read in my own words," what was I reading, or what was the point of me reading if I'm not understanding what it is? So that's how I'm also taking El High's point of scientific literacy is, we can have facts, we can know these things, but how does this apply to my life and how I move and navigate this ever-changing world, which is a constant moving cycle of science processes and methods. And so, again, back to teachers, if, they are serving as role models in this will encourage the students to take lead and start doing the same thing and eventually become a part of this informed decision making and critical thinking culture. So personally, I agree with the stance that scientific literacy is necessary and also possible for all. There is another researcher named Jonathan Osborne who states a primary justification of teaching science to all young people is to develop students to become critical consumers of science. And again, I think that relates back to how I was talking about the reading comprehension. So, science is within every facet of life, whether it's your health, medicine, technology, just the environment, the clothes we wear, the cars we drive, all of it is, based off of science. And so, um, these thoughts and actions of scientific literacy, or excuse me, the thoughts and actions that we have should be based on the foundations of scientific literacy, of questioning things, being creative thinkers. And that was all at highest point. Um, I personally will say, like, on missing some things, El High mentioned like utilizing ethos, but with him having been a teacher, I wonder if he applied, those practices within his work. And if he did, I would have really liked to have heard the results or some of the observations he's had from that. And had he maybe not tested it, which is fine because historically it has not been, maybe like methods or theories on how that can be integrated, specifically in a K through 12 setting, but within any setting, uh, how do we do it? I personally believe that the piece really focused on the history of how things have been done and that it's not been effective or gone in his point of view. And it was a big emphasis on this needs to be done and it is possible, but I don't think that we got, a plan of how to do it. And I think that the full circle moment of it all is with us navigating and learning how to, increase scientific literacy and make it more effective, we are literally using scientific literacy to do that because we're questioning things, we're going to be testing theories, we're going to be creative, and we're going to figure out how to use what's in our world in teaching and educating the next generation of innovators and thinkers um, on how to use scientific literacy to be better people. So I think it's just kind of like a circle or cycle that constantly feeds into itself. So I really would have enjoyed seeing an action plan or just some kind of evidence or maybe some numbers or hear of any plans of seeing it in the future. But overall, the article was extremely informative, and I think it was a valuable foundation for the argument. I think that it just stated the argument um, for creating pathways for scientific literacy. Overall, we know that scientific literacy is not only necessary, but it is also possible, and it's possible for all students. Thank you.